A very good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mohit Ravishankar from iQuantum Technologies, and I will be your host today. Before, me, before we move to the webinar, I would like to thank all of you for taking time off from your busy schedules to be a part of this webinar. And a huge shout out to our participants who have joined in from Texas. We hope you and your families are safe during this winter. Before we move to the webinar, let me explain some of the guidelines that we have set to ensure a smooth webinar experience for everyone. So all attendees will be muted throughout the webinar. You have the option to chat with the panelists. The Q&A feature can be used to ask questions to the speaker. And we have a separate Q&A session towards the end of the webinar where we will take up these questions and answer them. And this webinar will be recorded to be sent to all of the other registrations as well. So, yep, thanks a lot, Lokesh. So let me just give a brief about iQuantum Technologies, who we are and what we do. We are an SAP partner in the US and we specialize in end-to-end SAP services. What we try to do to our customers is to connect their X data and O data. X data being their experience data and O data being their operational data. And as part of this, we try to implement SAP solutions and innovations to our customers to help them experience intelligence, right? And how we help our customers experience intelligence is by connecting their experience data with their operational data. As you can see in the slide, iQuantum Technologies is a global company. Apart from the US, we also have operations in Canada, the United Kingdom, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we also have an offshore delivery excellence center in India through which we do remote implementations for a cost-effective model. Yeah, thanks a lot, Lokesh. This is a brief service portfolio of what exactly we do as a company. We specialize predominantly in SAP S4 HANA solutions. So we can do SAP S4 HANA implementations, rollouts, enhancements, and we also specialize in the conversion from SAP ECC to SAP S4 HANA. We also have an expertise in very niche modules, one of them being SAP BCM and MBC, which we will get to later. We also have our expertise in mid-market ERPs such as SAP Business by Design. We also have expertise in SAP Analytics Cloud and other line of business based cloud products that SAP is having. As you are aware, SAP is going on a cloud first approach. And as an SAP partner, iQuantum also helps customers take a cloud first approach wherever possible, again, to experience intelligence. Now, moving on to the actual webinar, let me start off with one thing. I think with the COVID pandemic, all of us have realized how difficult it is to really interact with each other without technology, right? It is a technology enablement that has helped us stay connected with each other through this unforeseen disruption. And I'm sure enterprises now understand and appreciate the value of investing in good technology, especially automation. An example of a business process that was greatly affected during this COVID pandemic was the end-to-end payment processing and tracking of the financial transactions from and to your customers, vendors, and employees. Already being a time-consuming and tiring task, enterprises around the world faced more difficulties working from home. This is actually the reason why iQuantum chose to run this no-nonsense webinar on bank payment factory automations using SAP BCM and SAP MBC. Being experts with a lot of experience in SAP bank communication management and multi-bank connectivity, I can assure you that this will be a very useful webinar for you and your enterprises. So next, I would hand over the session to Lokesh, our guest speaker. But before that, let me give you a brief of who Lokesh is and what his experience is. Lokesh comes with a deep knowledge of SAP, having worked on various versions of SAP, right from the ECC 4.6C to SAP S4HANA 1809, and even SAP S4HANA Cloud. He has evolved and grown along with SAP in his professional career, and he has completed multiple successful implementations and conversions, three of them being SAP BCM and MBC. He has a strong SAP finance background, and he has gained recognition for his expertise in SAP BCM and MBC. He has been instrumental in the conversion of three large enterprises from SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA. And with his vast experience steadily gained over a decade, Lokesh has a lot of knowledge to offer to enterprises requiring an automated solution for your bank payments. Lokesh looks forward to connecting, collaborating, and helping each and every one of you automate your bank payments for your enterprises. With this, I think, Lokesh, I'll hand it over to you. Have a great session, Lokesh.
Thanks, Mohit. Welcome, everyone. So today's session, we'll have a 4-point agenda. Basically, I want to walk you through with respect to the challenges that the current organizations or the modern organization face with respect to bank automation. And then what do the modern organizations need, and then how SAP MVC, BCM, and SAP CAS application as a solution would help them, realize the true benefit of payment automation. Followed by a small demo, because I want to show the process on the system to a minimum level. We don't have a system which is actively connected to a bank or a financial network. To give the overview or look and feel of how the solution works. Okay, so looking at the challenges that the organizations currently face is like a lot of organizations with whom I have worked, they would have disparated, silo systems working in silos. They would not have an omni-channel solution where all of the processes with respect to creating the payment, verifying the payment, and then approving the payment, making sure that the payment files, irrespective of be it a supplier payment or a customer payment or HR, employee payments, etc., are handled in one single place where it goes through a proper upload workflow. If it's a HR payment, it goes to the respective HR managers and the HR people for approval. If it's a normal supplier payments based on the values, it goes to different departments inside or different people inside the finance accounts payable department or the treasury department before it reaches the bank. So the solution that we are going to discuss shortly would be able to leverage all of this function into one single place where it becomes an omni-channel solution. And then with respect to these processes, business had to spend a lot of manual effort with respect to reconciliation, preparing the files, making sure all the documents are in place there for the approvers to have a look at it and then approve it swiftly. So all of this takes a lot of manual effort. And then with respect to the architecture as such, when an existing customer of SAP has multiple third-party solution, for example, for a bank transfer, they might use some file transfer protocol for the third-party services, and they might be using a check printing solution with a different third-party solution. They might be using a different treasury solution for their bank reconciliation, etc. Or they might have some other third-party solution which helps them do the file transfer, etc. So all of this involves multiple system architecture, and then maintaining these systems becomes tiresome. It involves a lot of cost for maintaining these systems, and then having them whenever you go for an upgrade, whenever you're in a lower version of SAP and then you go for an upgrade, every time when you upgrade, you have to make sure all of these third-party systems are in sync with the upgraded solution. So it takes a lot of effort with respect to maintaining the system. And then from the end user perspective, if we send a file to the bank, until and unless we receive the bank statement, we don't know the visibility where exactly the payment is. Has the payment been approved by the bank, or is it stuck somewhere in between? What is the status? You have to wait until the end of the day bank statement comes into your system to see, okay, these many payments I've made, out of which X amount have been successful. I have some failures. What is the reason for the failure, etc. So they don't have that visibility. So having said that, what a current organization need, right? So they need a solution which can be scalable. So that's a very important point, because connecting businesses, modern business might have a transaction with multiple banks, multiple financial institutions, and then they want a system which can freely communicate to different banking partners or financial partners. They don't want to spend time building their integration host to host with different banking partners. So it becomes a lot of effort with respect to integrating those two systems. So they need a system which is easily scalable, which can communicate to multiple financial institutions. And then with respect to the cost, they wanted to have a very less total cost of ownership, and then the maintenance cost should be very minimum, and then the effort they have to spend for maintaining this system should be very minimum. And then, as I said, it should be an omni-channel solution where it can integrate and talk to multiple people, multiple financial institutions. And then they need a system which can natively integrate to SAP. They don't have to spend too much of time and effort integrating the solution into SAP. And then from the end user perspective, they need to have the end-to-end visibility. So if they create a payment file and then push it to the bank, they need to know what had happened to the file. Was the file went ahead and then reached the bank safely? The bank would be able to send an acknowledgement where the user would know, okay, the file has gone through fine. And then whatever payments that they have made, out of which how many have been accepted and how many have been rejected. If they have been rejected, what was the rejection reason, etc., even before they receive the bank statement. So the visibility of the process becomes more easy, and then it makes people like the treasury accountant or the the cash flow accountant to make the real-time cash flow statement, which the organization today need to make better decisions. Okay, so now with respect to the solution, what solution SAP has provided to overcome all of these issues that we spoke about? So we have a solution, multi-bank connectivity, which basically what is multi-bank connectivity is it's a cloud-based product. So it communicates with SAP via SAP Cloud Platform Integrator or SAP Cloud Platform SCP. So it sits as a tenant on top of SCP, and then it is natively integrated, and then it can talk to multiple financial institutions. It can do a direct bank integration. Almost more than 10,000 plus financial banking institutions are already linked with SAP multi-bank connectivity. It can also get connected to your SWIFT payment gateway, or if your organization is European based, you can talk to EBIX, and then via SWIFT or via EBIX, it can again go back to a bank integration. So it becomes easy even if you operate with multiple bank. All of the global banks are already linked with SAP multi-bank connectivity, and then multi-bank connectivity can be natively integrated to S4. So if there is any upgrade for your S4 in future, if you want to go for an S4 HANA upgrade, or even if you are already on S4, if you want to go for a higher version upgrade, you don't have to spend a lot of time with respect to making sure that the multi-bank connectivity, because it's SAP product. So SAP will make sure that it automatically connects or upgrades itself. So with respect to the key capabilities, with respect to multi-bank connectivity, it is end-to-end encrypted. So the files that you send to the multi-bank connectivity will be encrypted both at the message level as well as the transaction level security keys. And then between the bank and MBC, they will have the similar certificate exchange where they will have a different hashtag algorithm to encrypt and decrypt. So when you send a file via MBC, it is rest assured that it is end-to-end encrypted. So the information that you send is highly confidential. So we are rest assured that the file safely reaches the bank. And then with respect to the connectivity, as I told you, it needs to have certificate exchange between our SAP ECC system or SAP S/4HANA system. Similarly, the MBC will be doing the same thing with the banking institutions as well as SWIFT or EBIX. And then it can either do a host-to-host connection, because as I told you, it is already connected to the bank. So we don't have to spend effort making sure that traditionally in the olden days, when we had to communicate with the bank, we need to establish a host-to-host connectivity with a file transfer protocol individually with each of those banks. Supposedly, if an organization operates with say 4 or 5 banks, we have to establish the same connectivity with all 4 or 5 banks, which will become very difficult. But having an intelligent solution like this, which is natively integrated, makes it very easy to talk to multiple financial organizations. So as I told you, it has access to close to 11,000 financial institutions, and then it comes up with the full onboarding and routing functionality. So if we opt for this solution, since it's a cloud product, we will have an SAP, SAP team member helping implement the multi-bank connectivity solution. Getting the certificate exchange between the financial institution and the certificate exchange between our SAP system will be helped by the SAP counterpart. Getting this connected with SAP is really easy because it's an SAP product, so the connectivity can be established pretty quickly. You don't have to spend a lot of time working on the connectivity, making sure testing efforts, all of this will be drastically reduced. And then with respect to the data footprint, it has a very low data footprint as it's a cloud-based solution. So nothing will be stored on the cloud. It's just the transmission, transmitting tool. So if you send the file will be pushed onto the bank, and then it will receive the bank status report from the bank as well as the end of the day bank statement and route it back to your S4 system. So the data footprint is very minimal. We can have a certain time period for the retention. If at all, after some point in time, if you want to remove the data which is stored, it can be easily deleted. The data that gets stored is only encrypted, so even if there is something that data leak happens, no one will be able to understand the data because it's totally encrypted. But being an SAP, a global solution provider, we would not be expecting anything of that sort. So the data which is being transferred will be highly secured. To activate or to establish this connectivity, the two main component would be the digital core, which is your intelligent ERP system, be it an ECC system or an S4 system, can be connected, and then all of master data setup, your workflow, your payment batching, your approval workflow based on different payments, all of this will be handled by the SAP ECC or S4HANA system. And then the multi-bank connectivity will be purely used for transferring the file between your ERP system and your financial institution via SAP Cloud Platform Integrated. So if you are an existing customer, if you want to communicate any of your cloud solutions like SuccessFactors or Ariba or Fieldglass or Blackline or any other SAP cloud product with on-prem, you would already be having your SAP Cloud Platform Integration license. So the only thing that you have to procure in addition to that is the MVC license, and then MVC will be sitting on top of SCP as a separate tenant. So you will have two tenants, basically one test tenant and one production tenant. So like any cloud implementation, once you have established the connectivity, tested the end-to-end solution with respect to the test tenant, and during the cutover, there's a certain time frame that we have to request the production tenant. Once all the testing efforts are completed, once the user acceptance testing are converted is done, we can ask for the production tenant, and then SAP will be provisioning a new tenant for the production environment. So setting up the production environment would be pretty straightforward. Once the certificates are exchanged and the connectivity is established, it is as I told you, it's very easy to connect to your ERP system. And then with respect to the key benefits, it can connect to both your banks as well as your financial institutions like Nebix. It's like efficiency, as we spoke about, because it's end-to-end encrypted. It tells you the real-time cache. The files will come back pretty swiftly. You don't have to wait for the files to reach your system. As soon as the bank sends the payment status report, we'll have the information coming back to our system. We know what all payments that we have made, out of which were approved and which were rejected, etc. And then it boosts up the reliability with your banking network. So the solution of bank communication management is via the Fiori application. So the approvals can be done via your mobile or tab, wherever the Fiori can be launched to. So it's more mobile based solution. So it's agile. People can approve from wherever they are. So it becomes more easy for the organization to move out and then have a proper cash flow for their organization.
Hello.
Okay, coming back to the
Lokesh?
yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, Lokesh. We already have a couple of questions rolling in actually, and this one's a pretty funny one. So one of the attendees is requesting you to slow down because there's a lot of information that they have to process
Oh,
in.
sorry. Okay. Sorry for that. All right. Okay. Coming back to the deployment model. We touched upon this when we had in the earlier slides. Being it a cloud solution, we spoke about how it can also talk to the financial institutions like SWIFT and ABIX adapter. So SAP by itself has those inbuilt adapters. So we don't have to buy separate connectivity. We have SAP certified adapters. So we just have to activate, if at all, if an organization wants to communicate to the bank via SWIFT, we have to activate the SWIFT package adapters or the ABIX adapters, and then enable via SAP multi-bank connectivity. So the tool is more flexible with respect to communicating with multiple financial institutions or banks directly. All right. So to walk you through the end-to-end flow. So how a particular end-to-end flow happens is in the current world, if you are using SAP, the accounts payable department would be, or the treasury department would be running your payment program. Once the payment program is run, the payment file will be generated, and then the payment file will go to respective approvers based on the value or based on the currency with which you're operating. It's a foreign payment, it might go to a different person, etc. And then once all of this is approved, a payment file will get generated. When I say payment file, that will be the XML format or the format that which the bank can process it would be generated, and it will be pushed into the SAP multi-bank connectivity, and then the multi-bank connectivity will be pushing it to the bank. Later, when the bank sends us the response, it receives the response from the bank, and then it pushes it back to the SAP system so that we know what had happened to the payment that we have sent. And then by end of the day, once the financial day is completed, the bank would be sending the MT9 format, which is the bank. The lockbox for the checks that got cashed will be sent via the same channel. Receive those, it will be automatically received by the system, and then the files will be processed based on a background job that we have scheduled, and the jobs on the job will be responsible for updating or reconciling all the open items that we have cleared. So I'll come on to the reconciliation, but that would be covered part of the session. Okay, so we spoke about multi-bank connectivity. So multi-bank connectivity tool which will send and receive the file from our ERP system to the bank or the financial institutions. But before even sending the file to the bank, as we spoke, there are a lot of other transactions involved, right? Like generating the batch, putting it to the proper approvers, etc. So all of this that happens would be controlled via SAP Bank Communication Management Solution. So what is SAP Bank Communication Management Solution, SAP BCM? So SAP BCM has been in SAP for a longer time, but it has been developed recently to cater to the latest requirement of organizations. So SAP BCM helps customers to batch the payments into specific buckets and then push it on to different approvers inside the organization. And then it also helps to track the end-to-end visibility of the payment with intelligent dashboards and intelligent payment monitors. So with which people would be able to track what had happened, and then it improves the compliance rate because it goes through multiple checks. It has close to multiple level approval workflow that can be triggered. So the payment is being checked and verified by multiple eyes inside the organization. So it increases the compliance of the payment files that we send. Moreover, the payment status monitor, which is a key functionality inside BCM, will give you a proper dashboard or an analysis, like supposingly if you are sending a payment batch which has say close to 1,000 or 2,000 payments in it, and then if at all say 100 payments out of the 1,000 that you have sent has rejected, it will tell you what had happened and why that particular payment got rejected. It might be due to a wrong bank account number, or a different, it can be due to some incorrect value that we have sent, so that the processor would know, okay, why that particular payment got failed, and then they can reverse the payment and then make the data correction before they reprocess the payment. Then again it goes to the same approval workflow before it reaches the bank. So from the compliance perspective, from the payment lifecycle perspective, it becomes more transparent and easy to handle compared to the traditional way of payment processing, where you have to generate a payment program, and then someone has to manually check the proposals, and then it will be controlled by authorization. So once the proposal is being verified by the team, someone has to run the actual payment run, and that's it. Once you run the payment run, the file will get generated, even it goes into different buckets of approval. But the BCM solution would be able to bridge that gap. After generating the payment run, it would be bucketed into different batches based on the requirement of the organization, and then it will go into multiple people's approval before even the payment file gets generated and pushed to multi-bank connectivity. Okay, so the key benefits is it's a reduction of manual effort. So obviously, if it's going to be online approval, you don't have to prepare all the paperwork that you had to prepare, get it, send it via email, and then get it approved even before you generate the batch. So traditionally, what happens is they would be doing all the email work, all the paperwork will be done in the email. Once after you get the approval from the email, you have to take a printout, etc. Make sure that you have the evidences attached to it, and then you generate the payment file, and then you push it onto the bank. But since all of this is now automated online, the manual effort with respect to doing all of this will be drastically reduced. And then since it's going to be a single point of reporting tool, the complete end-to-end cycle will be handled by this solution. So you don't have to have separate reports from different systems, and then you prepare a dashboard for your stakeholders. So all of this can be done inside the payment status monitor application. And then with respect to the multi-bank connectivity, being the omni-channel solution, even if you talk to, even if you generate a payment run, which might have payment files which goes to different bank. For example, you might have a different foreign currency bank account in a different bank. You might have your domestic currency bank account in a different bank. If the payment file has multiple foreign payments as well as domestic payments, the batches will be created in such a way that your foreign payment gets pushed to your foreign bank account, and then foreign currency bank account, and then your domestic payment get pushed to your domestic bank account based on the configurations that we maintain in your BCM batching process. So all of this is pretty much easy. Otherwise, what happens, people would be running separate payment runs. Okay, I'm going to do my domestic payments today. I'm going to do all the manual verification and then push it to the bank. And then later during the week, they'll be doing all the foreign payments separately. If they had to do some wire transfer, they'll be running the wire transfer separately. But having this BCM solution in between, it becomes easy that they just have to run one single payment run for collectively for all the open ended that they have, and then it batches it accordingly, so that each of it goes to respective approvers before it gets pushed to the bank. To the, for example, as I told you, the same scenario. So it is intelligent enough that it batches in such a way that the foreign payment goes to the respective foreign bank, and then the domestic payment goes to a different domestic bank, and then the wire transfer gets transferred to the respective bank, etc. And then the workflow is pretty straightforward. It uses the standard SAP approval workflow, and then the workflow can be accessed by the mobile application. So when you generate the payment, you get a notification in your mobile application, or if you're a user who logs into SAP, you can either log in via tab or your PC, and then you just have to invoke the Fiori application, and then you just have to approve it. You also have the provision of attaching documents to the approval, so that the next level approver knows that you have taken the decision based on certain rational. You can put your own comment, so that the other person or the second level approval can know why you have approved it. And then you can, if you want to reject it, you still have the option of rejecting any particular payment from the batch. Supposing the batch has, say, 15 documents, you wanted to pay only the 12 and you want to reject 3, you can still reject the 3 and then push the 12 forward, and then the payment batch will only get generated for the 12 and not for the 15. So these are certain benefits that you get from the BCM process. Okay, so quickly jumping on to the organization which don't use SAP BCM and MBC, but they use an SAP system for that matter. So what happens now? I think we touched upon this, but I like to give some emphasis on the file transfer part here. So once you generate the payment program, you create the payment order, and then it goes to the file gets generated, and then you will have a file transfer protocol, and then the file will be pushed to the file server, and then the third-party solution will pick up the file, and then the file will then be encrypted. If you have a third-party system which is capable of encrypting the data, but there are certain organizations they'll do a host-to-host connectivity with the bank, right? So the data that we prepare and put it onto the secure folder, there will be a RFC call or some remote function call which will happen, which will pick the file from the server that we have, application file server that we have placed, and then bank will be processing the payment. But if you have a third-party solution which is used for encrypting the data, then that will do the work. Imagine that if you have Swift in between, so the file will be pushed to the Swift adapter, and then Swift will pick the file, encrypt the data, and if you want to have a digital signature process in between, it will be done, and then the payment order will be sent to the bank. And similarly, the bank will send the bank statement. We will not be receiving the payment status report. So as I told you, we need to wait until the end of the day or the next day to actually know what had really happened in the bank. And the bank statement will be pushed back to the file server, and then the file server will be importing the bank statement into our system. We have to do, even though it works automatically, but user has to do a lot of manual reconciliation with respect to uploading the bank statement, because the MT940 format or CAMT5340 format would not be bringing like a lot of information for the AI content or the API content to reconcile the payment. So maximum of will be spent based on reconciling the data. Okay, so what will happen when we have BCM and MBC in place, right? So the same process, once the payment order is created, it gets batched into different batch based on the criteria that we you can batch it based on low value suppliers, frequent suppliers, etc. You can batch it based on value. Okay, if at all I'm making a payment less than $1 million, it goes to my chief accountant and my treasury manager. If it's over $1 million, it goes to my treasury manager and CFO. If it's more than 10 million, it goes to my CFO as well as one of the C-level executive. So it's so much flexible that you can have multiple batching process and approval workflow. And then as I told you, it's end-to-end encrypted. So you would have to digitally sign. It can either be a mobile approval, or it can be entering your password when you approve the payment batch. What happens is, once the batch is approved, the batch is then pushed to the MBC, where it will be encrypted, and then it will be routed to the respective bank, because like each the MBC is competent enough to understand, okay, which bank it has to go based on the security exchange mapping that we do, and then it will be pushed directly to the bank. Or if you have to have a third party like Swift in between, you send it to the Swift, and in turn it sends to the bank, and then the bank will send the payment status report immediately once it receives the batch. The payment status report will be pushed back into MBC and into SAP S/4HANA or SAP ECC, which will show it in your payment monitor that yes, out of these many payments that you have done, these have been approved, and these have been rejected, and this is the rejection reason. And obviously at the end of the day, it will receive the MT940 format from the bank and then put the system, which will be automatically uploaded into the bank statement processing. And then if at all, if you have few transactions which are not automatically cleared, a solution called cash application, which I will be touching upon in the coming slides. I will explain to you how the bank automation or bank reconciliation is automated via this intelligent solution. So once the file comes to the SAP system, it gets automatically uploaded, and most of the open items are reconciled. So this is the the process, or the bank communication management and MBC makes the process so efficient that most of the pre-work that an accountant or a treasury manager does today will all be online and will all be automated. They don't have to get email approvals. They don't have to do a lot of paperwork to prove to the person who is supposed to approve it and then run it. So they just have to generate the file, generate the payment program, and then it batches and pushes to the right approver. And then even for the approver, it becomes so difficult that they can backtrack to the original PO, and then they can look at they can even look at the PO and then compare the invoice value. If at all, if they want to go, they can backtrack to the PO if they want to check whether the PO is of the same value and we have got the invoice for the same value, and then they can make the payment. So it becomes more easy for the approver to substantiate the payment. Alright. So having said that, if at all, if you are an organization where you have multiple SAP systems, like I've worked with an organization where they will have multiple SAP instances. Their core business will be operating in a different instance, and then during the course of time they would have acquired multiple organizations where they would be running on a different SAP system. Or there can also be a scenario where they will have non-SAP units inside their global organization. So SAP MBC can be connected to multiple SAP systems. So it is not that if at all if you have one SAP system you have to buy separate MBC. No, it's being a cloud product, it can communicate to SAP and non-SAP systems. So the payment files either can be generated inside SAP, pushed to MBC, or it can be pushed via an FTP folder from a different SAP unit into SAP. And then if you're a non-SAP system, you can generate your CSV files and then push it onto SAP MBC, and then SAP MBC will be pushing it to the bank. It becomes one single tool which can integrate your SAP and non-SAP systems by pushing the files and communicating with the bank. And then obviously if you want to have the approval process, if you want to have the batching process, then the payment should be replicated into your SAP system, and then the payment run should be happening in your SAP system for all of that approval process and the batching process to work. So this diagram will give you an overview like how easy it is to integrate your SAP and non-SAP system to SAP MBC. Yeah, so this particular slide I've just covered about how the batching happens, what are the different exception handling process that can be adopted by BCM, and how the compliance increases by adopting this module SAP Bank Communication Management. And the electronic bank statement will be handled by your traditional SAP financial and accounting process, but this BCM and MBC will make it easy with another application called cash application, which will enhance the reconciliation process, which I will be covering in the subsequent slide. So from the overall perspective, the bank communication management is is responsible for batching the payments into multiple batch. It's also responsible for exception handling. It increases the compliance and make the life of the end user very easy. So these are the Fiori applications that from a user perspective will be using. So they just have 3 Fiori applications and they can control the end-to-end payment process. So they have to use the manage automatic payment program Fiori application to generate the batch, and then the approve bank payment Fiori application for approving the batch, and then the monitor payments Fiori application to check the end-to-end payment, whether it is being approved or rejected, etc. Okay, now coming on to the cash application. So what is the cash application does? So like I work with customers in the US who uses the Hansei Orga tool for so bank reconciliation, or they might be using multiple third-party application which will help them reconcile. But SAP has come up with an intelligent machine learning tool called cash application, which is more which trains itself. Basically, it has a bot. When I say bot, it can train by the transactions that we do. It can go back, train itself from the historical documentations that we have done, and then it will be, once the bot is trained enough, it will start proposing, okay, this would be the right open item to reconcile. For example, where do we spend a lot of time with respect to incoming payment is how to, like, which customer paid, against which invoice the payment was made, was it an advance payment, or was it payment against an invoice, etc. So this bank statement import and lockbox, once it comes into our SAP system, the cash application will segregate into incoming payments and outgoing payments. In the incoming payments, it will have to find the respective AR open item, and then it has to clear the AR open item. Or if it's an advance receipt from a customer, it has to be treated as a down payment. If it's a normal GL posting, like when I say GL accounts, the intermediate clearing account and the bank account have to be posted and cleared. So this cash application machine learning concept will be looking at the data that we've been using for a longer duration of time. It will get trained itself, or say it will check the historical data of say last 1 year or last 2 years. This will then train, and then it will start reading the remittance information. For example, when we upload a CAMT53 or an MT940 into our system, the remittance information will have information, okay, which customer paid against what invoice, etc. But it might not be complete enough that from a user perspective, it will become difficult to find the respective invoice and clear it. But looking at the pattern, how that particular customer has made payments in the last 6 months or last 1 year, then it knows, okay, if this comes from this bank account with this kind of an information, then it would be for an invoice that they had paid for, etc. So it will start training itself, and then it will propose to you on the screen, okay, this is being received from this customer against this invoice. Do you want to accept or reject? So if you want to if you accept it, then the postings will be automatically done. If you reject it, you can still go back and then find the appropriate item to be cleared. Even from the the other side of process, where you want to have your like vendor invoice management solution, like the OCR, you scan the PDF, and then the PDF will be converted to an EDI, and then it will be emailed, and then based on the payment advice extraction that comes down to your email, it can do a line item matching, like whether whether that particular payment that they have made is against which invoice, or was it against a down payment, etc. So it trains itself, and then it develops the intelligence by itself over reading a longer duration of data, and then it will make the end user life pretty much easy, and then the transactions can be done, if at all, if they take say 4 hours a day to do reconciliation. With these intelligent tools, they can be able to complete it in say 30 to 40 minutes. So that it becomes over the duration of time, how much ever the bot trains itself, the amount of predictions that it could make will be drastically correct, or it may be more than 90% correct or 95% correct, so that users don't have to really do the reconciliation, but the bot itself will be doing the reconciliation automatically. So these are the the advantages of cash application that we just spoke about. It can do open item reconciliation. It can do the lockbox reconciliation. It can do the incoming batch statement reconciliation. It can post to a advance payment account, or the normal receipt from a customer, or a vendor payment, etc. So the reconciliation process becomes more easy with this cash application process. Yeah, so we have come to a stage where I just want to quickly show you a system demo, right? So I've also got the screenshots, but I thought it will be good to show you on the system. This system that I'm going to show you is not connected to any of the bank, right? It's just a demo system. So we have made a couple of payments into the bank, and then we have made it that all of the statuses are updated correctly, so that it gives you a look and feel. So I'll quickly log into as one of the approvers, right? Before logging into an approval, I give you a particular batch, okay? So these are certain batches that were generated. It tells you the batch number, what is the status of the batch, whether the batch has been accepted by the bank or the batch is in the approval process. If it's an approval process, for example, if you open this batch, the system seems to be a bit slow, sorry for that. So who is it actually pending with, and then what is the the batch value, etc. So you have different tabs here, which is like new. These are the batch that are not been approved yet, which is just created the batch, and then whatever batch is in approval, who is it pending with, what is the value, etc. And what are the batches that got approved. So I'm just running it for the entire lot. You can either filter it by company code, you can filter it by the date range, or you can filter it by any different. If you want to have more filtering criteria, you can do adaptive filter. And then how many batches have been sent to the bank. Out of the batches that we sent to the bank, whether the batch has been approved or not, or rejected, you can see the status here. For example, this batch was received by the bank, but it was not approved. It only says received by the bank. So we have not got a payment confirmation that out of these many payment files in this batch number 49, we would have sent close to say 10-15 payments, and then out of which it's only been received and not been approved yet. Okay, let me quickly show you an example of like from approval. So I'm just logging in as an approver. So I just got my approver roles. So I will also be getting a notification here, like what are the batches that are pending for my approval. It will also be notified in my Fiori application on my mobile. And then you will have the Approve Bank Payment app. And then if you click on the, it will show the batch number, what is the batch value, whether it's a final approval or not, and then what is the creation date, what is the value. You can go into the batch, and then you can check who created the batch, who like if there's any attachment attached to it, you can open the attachment and see. You can approve it here and then say okay to pay. And then once you click on submit to review, the batch has been submitted. So once you submit the batch, if you it goes to the level 2 approver, what I will do, I will log out as level 1 approver, log in as level 2 approver, and then go into my payment approver. So the level 2 approver has got more payments to approve. So I'm going to pick any of the batch saved, and then approve it. Okay to pay. And then submit my review. You can click on the reviewed option here. So whatever that you approved, you can do a final review, and then you can approve it. So the batch number 293 has been approved. So if you go into your monitor payments, you can do a refresh, and then if you select the batch 293, for example, that we just approved, it says payment medium has been created, which means the file has been created and then it's pushed to the bank. If we have the bank connectivity established, then once the bank receives it, it goes to approval bucket or send to bank bucket based on the status that we receive back from the bank. So from the user perspective, it becomes more transparent and more clear. Just by looking at the monitor payment app, they would know what had happened to the payment that they have sent to the bank. So it becomes that much easy and the visibility becomes more clear. And then with respect to the reconciliation, so they have this different Fiori applications for the bank reconciliation. It will give us what are the bank statements that we receive, how much have been reconciled, if we need any manual reconciliation, etc. All of these becomes more easy in the bank reconciliation Fiori applications. So the cash application that we spoke about at the would be part of the bank reconciliation solution, where it will explain or suggest which open item to be reconciled. So that we have not covered it part of demo, but it works in such a way that it's easier for user to accept or reject the proposal that SAP cash application suggests. So I've just attached the screenshot in the PPT format here. So yeah, that's it from me for today. I'll just hand over back to Mohit.
Hi Lokesh, thanks a lot for that session, Lokesh. That was great. So team, so why iQuantum? It's simple. We have the expertise and experience in successfully implementing SAP BCM and MBC. In fact, we have more than 5 successful implementations between the team. Our approach to implementing SAP BCM and MBC is to use the SAP Activate methodology. And our customer focus is on large SAP customers because we understand their requirements, and large enterprises need a solution like SAP BCM and MBC to really manage their business, especially the finance team. And I think with the demo, we can all understand what kind of a value SAP BCM and MBC will bring to your enterprise as a whole, right? So most of our customers, they have already SAP implemented, but they don't implement SAP BCM and MBC. And with this COVID-19 pandemic, we received a lot of requests from customers to conduct demos and check out how we can implement SAP BCM and MBC to them, which is one of the reasons why we decided to do a no-nonsense webinar on the topic, because like I said before, we are the experts and we have a good amount of expertise in that. Our team is a high quality team backed up by industry experts, and we provide our services at the right price for the right value that you bring in. That being said, I would like to thank each and every one of you for staying the entire 60 minutes and being a part of this wonderful webinar session conducted by Lokesh. Thanks a lot, Lokesh, for that session. And right now for the question and answer, if you would like to ask a question, I would suggest you to raise your hand so that we can unmute you temporarily to ask a question. Let's just wait. All right. So we have a couple of questions coming in. Lokesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mohit.
Okay. So Jennifer has a question. She asks what the average project implementation timeline is.
So the number of banks we integrate with Mohit. So if it's going to be one entity and then integrating it to one bank via SAP MVC, it would take anywhere between 3 months, like for us to do the test tenant and then the production. It will take 3 months to integrate end to end with testing as well as making sure all the process works.
All right. Melinda has a question, Lokesh. She integrated in how much time?
It can be any number of banks. As I told you, the SAP MVC is already integrated with multiple banks. So our process would be integrating our system and MVC once, and then MVC is already connected with different banks. So the second set of integration or second side of integration is already covered by SAP MVC.
All right. Brian says, sorry if he had missed that point, but what file formats are supported?
Yeah. So it supports both FIN and FileAct file formats. So both XML as well as your traditional file formats, Mohit. So SAP by itself is compliant with respect to all the global banks requirement, be it PAIN.001 XML format for the outgoing payment, and then MT940 for the bank statement, or the CAMT53 for the bank statement. It supports BAI, BAI2 format, logbox format. So all the global file formats which are accepted by the financial institutions are supported.
All right. So Danny has a question. He says, I already have SAP in place. Are there any system prerequisites that I should check out for?
Sorry, I had a background noise. What I didn't get your question correctly, Mohit.
So Danny says he already has an SAP system in place.
Mm-hmm.
What are the system prerequisites to check out for?
It depends upon the version that they are on. So if they already have an SAP, it becomes more easy. So you just have to get the SAP MVC license, and then SAP, being an SAP product, SAP would have given the relevant support pack or the relevant OSS notes that has to be implemented. So obviously, almost all the versions of SAP is compatible to connect with SAP MVC, but depends upon the version that they are currently in. We might have to implement certain support pack upgrade or implement certain prerequisite notes to be technically, compatible.
Great one, Lokesh. I think Timothy has a question. How will the ERP be integrated with the bank?
Yeah, so that's via the MVC. So that plays the the connectivity role in between.
All right. So once again, team attendees, if you have any questions, please use the question and answer feature to shoot out your questions, and we have our expert Lokesh here to answer them in real time. And if you'd like to voice out your question, please do raise your hand so we can try and unmute you. Okay. All right. So, Lokesh, I have a question to ask you, and it's something that I'd like to answer it by myself, if that's okay. So, my question, Lokesh, is how will iQuantum assist me throughout the journey? What are the next steps forward? So, here, team, I would like to say that I'll personally be reaching out to you with the PPT that we used for today's session. I will also be sending you the webinar video recording along with the survey to really get some feedback from you on how we can help your enterprise. And I'll definitely be in touch with each and every one of you to understand how iQuantum can help your enterprise experience intelligence using SAP BCM and MBC. So you can definitely look forward to an email from me today, and I'll help you take things forward to the next step and see how we can help you and your enterprise with implementing SAP BCM and MBC. So that being said, I believe we have no more questions at the moment. So I think Lokesh, I think we can close right now. So a huge thanks to each and every one of you who have joined the webinar. It's past the time, and we really appreciate you still staying back for the question and answer session. I hope this is a very informative session for you, and I'll definitely be in touch with each and every one of you. All right. So thanks a lot once again, and this is bye from the iQuantum team.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.